Do we know what we're doing? No. Are we going to do it anyway? Yes. This is First Time Energy. Welcome back to First Time Energy. I am your host, Alex Broxma. And this is the podcast where we normalize awkwardness, overthinking, and doing new things while internally spiraling just a little bit. And today's episode is deeply personal because I have two very special guests with me today. Number one, you've already met him once before. He's my husband, Shaun. And number two, you have not met yet, but he is my 10-year-old son, and his name is Royce, which means today's episode could be either incredibly wholesome or might be the reason why I can never run for public office. But today we are talking about camping. And some people might call that something where you pay money to sleep outside poorly on the ground. Some people hear camping and picture peaceful sunsets, nature, family bonding. I see previous events of my life flashing before my eyes. Definitely unforgettable family memories have come from some of our camping experiences. So today we're going to talk about expectations versus reality, family chaos in confined outdoor spaces, and what camping reveals about people under pressure, and maybe why some of those memories that start as disasters somehow become the stories we laugh about forever. So grab your bug spray and maybe a hoodie, and let's go ahead and get into this. Royce, how are you doing today?
Good.
I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. Are you excited to be on the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay. Shaun, welcome back. Thank you for joining again.
Thanks for having me on again. Didn't totally ruin the experience last time, so I'm happy to be here for a second show.
Yeah, avoided that by a narrow margin. Well, Shaun has done our first time check before, so let's go ahead and start with Shaun. Shaun, have you ever been on a podcast before?
Yeah, this one. Once. Yes.
How are you feeling about today's experience versus your first experience?
I'm excited to have Royce. I'm excited to do one with Royce. I think this is a good subject, and him and I probably have a lot to talk about this specific one. So I'm excited to be here. Excited to be on Royce's first podcast as well.
Royce, this is my first segment and it's called First Time Check. So, what I like to do is ask my podcast guests if they've ever been on a podcast before. So, have you?
No. Not a
Thank
minute
goodness.
in my life.
I was going to have to make you move out if you did. What are you feeling right now? Nervous? Excited?
There's a little bit of nervous, but I feel like I'm more excited than nervous.
Okay, that's good. Well, you made the cut for this episode because you like camping and your older sister absolutely despises it. So she would not make a good guest today. But let's go ahead and get started talking about this. We're talking about camping. And I always start with my origin story. So I very much enjoy camping. And part of that is because my family went camping when I was a kid. So I was a little bit older than Royce. And on a weekend like this, like nice weather out, we would pack up the van. And now we had a van where you take the whole middle row out as a bench seat. You like two people have to hoist it out of the van. And my sister and I would sit in the far back row and we would shove the middle full of Rubbermaid totes and dogs. And then we would truck on out to the campground. Royce, how does that compare to your experience when we would go camping? What did that look like for you?
Well, I do remember one time you picked me up from school or something, and then I asked if we were going home, and you said we were going to the campground to go camping. So, yeah, that's that was a pretty fun time because we went camping for like the whole weekend. So,
We did. I do remember picking you up and saying, "Let's go, we're getting out of here." Shaun, tell me a little bit about you camping when do you have any camping experience, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, similar to you, my family was huge on camping growing up. So I spent a lot of my time at the campground, and it was very similar to kind of Royce's experience, where, a lot of the times I only saw what happened when we were at the campground, right? Like my family would go set up usually a day before. I'd get out of school, and next thing I know, I'm at the campground. And, it was kind of just me and all of my family. So cousins, everybody would just kind of be out there. And we'd spend the whole weekend just camping. We were a little different than you in the fact that we didn't really have the van. We actually had campers and things like that. So we were a little bit more glamping, I guess you could say. But it was definitely huge in my family and a huge part of my life growing up for sure.
I kind of despised you when I was a kid, and because you were glamping and we were full on tent camping, and I thought it was really cool when we did. So background story here for my listeners, and honestly for Royce and for Shaun. My mom passed away a few years ago, so Shaun never got to meet my mom, and Royce was only 18 months, 2 years old when she passed away. So what you guys don't know about my mom is that she would get this like idea and be like, "Oh my god, we should try something new as a family." And then if it was like camping, for example, isn't necessarily the kind of thing you kind of go half in on. Like you could buy a tent and you could bring some blankets from home and some pillows and stuff like that and maybe make it work. But she was like, "We're going to try camping." And $700 later, we had a full tent camping experience. And so I remember we had this tent that like was my mom and dad's side, and then there was a tunnel bridge that we had to zip together. And my sister and I could crawl through this tunnel into the well, it's more like a 4-person tent. My sister and I would crawl through this tunnel, and then that was the side we would stay on. And so that was my experience growing up, was sleeping bags on the ground. We didn't do cots. It was full on, full on sleeping bags. So,
I
yeah, I
can
kind of despise.
I can respect that. I mean, growing up, obviously I was young, so it was my, uncle, grandparents, those that had the camper. As I was coming up into camping, I absolutely 100% was a tent camper and, slept on the ground sometimes and just kind of, fell asleep where I lied. I don't know how many times I fell asleep in like a lawn chair next to a bonfire. So camping can take a lot of forms. So I can definitely respect the starting out in the tent camping and kind of growing from there for sure.
Royce, do you remember your very first memory of camping?
I remember we played. So, I'm trying to think back as far as I can, but I can't tell. Like, I'm thinking of a few different things, but I can't remember which one came first. So, like, I do remember we had the first camper that was tinier than the second one. I remember getting into the camper and just jumping into your bed because it was right next to the door.
Do you
So,
know that camper? You're right. That one came first,
yeah, that was a little. That was a little.
which is weird that you think it's small because you were little.
Well, I didn't think it was small. I was thinking it's smaller than the other one.
So then, what do you remember about actually going camping? Do you remember anything about us like getting that camper ready to take it out?
Not really. I remember that we had, like, at the old house, we had that area that we made, and I thought I was so cool because I brought a bunch of rocks into that area, and then we put the camper on top of it.
Uh, yeah, I'm curious how Shaun remembers that experience. Maybe we should back up for just a second for everybody. So I'll take everyone back to 2020 and the pandemic hits and everyone has to be at home and quarantine. And Shaun had family that camped regularly and they were all going out and using their campers. And we decided, well, maybe we would be a family that buys a camper. And we went out and we bought a camper, and I don't remember how much it cost. I think it was $5,000 actually. It was fairly reasonably priced, and we drove out to get this camper, and we pull up, and Shaun, if you remember this, the gentleman who we were buying it from was, like, detailing his riding
His
mower,
lawnmower, yeah. Yep.
and I think, like, we immediately felt a lot better about whatever it was we were gonna find, because if you take the time to detail your riding lawnmower, you probably took really good care of the inside of your camper. How did that make you feel? As the, like, car aficionado, you are the automobile person in our household. What were you thinking?
Yeah, 100%. Same that you were saying. Like, I remember looking that camper over like top to bottom, thinking. I mean, it was fairly old. It wasn't super old, but it was 10 years oldish or so, right? Like in a camper's age, you're like, oh man, there's got to be something going on here, and that thing was spotless. Like you could tell he cared about everything that he owned. So I did not feel bad. Same point as you. I did not feel bad taking that thing off the lot at all. He did a great job taking care of it.
So then we buy the camper, we take it home, we bring the kids out, and at this time we had, well, our oldest would have been in end of kindergarten going into first grade, and then Royce was in preschool, and it was just the two of us, the two of them, and a 70-pound silver lab. And it was fine. We made it work, got the double bunk for the kids, whatever. And then we take it out camping once, twice, maybe 3 times, and we decide this is not big enough. And I do kind of remember your cousin being like, "I told you we were gonna want something bigger, blah, blah, blah." Like,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Called that out right away. They're like, you that's not going to be big enough. But we were bound determined that that was going to be all we needed for sure. But yeah, it to your point, it lasted I think 3 or maybe 4 camping trips before we were like, oh, we gotta upgrade this thing.
so then I do what I do, which is hop on Facebook Marketplace and start looking for deals. And I discover a camper a few hours away, reasonably priced to what we were willing to pay for it. Well, we sold the other one, and we turned a profit. We owned it for less than 30 days before we decided that we wanted to sell it. We sell it for $1,000 more, I think, than what we paid for it. We turn around, we go up and buy this other camper, and they had it listed higher than what they sold it to us for. But I remember asking how low, how much can you let it go for? And the guy says, I want an ice house. And my wife says I have to sell this before I can get the ice house. So I'll sell it to you for what we owe, which was great. So we buy this camper, we drive it back. Again, in really good condition, had been stored in like a barn or something for winter. And then the camper, Royce, this is where you helped build the like parking area for it at the old house. And
Royce did it all on his own. Just want to put that out there.
Royce thinks he did that all on his own. In reality, it was like five adults and
Yep.
Royce.
Yeah.
But then the camper is in, we don't even have the title for it yet. And the derecho comes through. And derecho comes through, I think was it Kettleson RV? I think
Yep.
that was doing like mobile
Quotes.
inspections.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. After the derecho. And so they did an inspection for us. And thank goodness they put a piece of blue painter's tape on every little ding on the siding of that. And insurance totaled it, even though everything was cosmetic, and we bought it back from insurance. And I believe at the time the running joke was that we paid more for Ophelia's Target knockoff American Girl doll camper than we did for the actual camper we were using for 2 years. Like it's comical to think about.
Yeah, I think all said and done, everything, we were in it for like $9 at the end of it or something ridiculous. It was definitely a running joke for a while.
I was gonna say 11, so yeah, I think that's probably pretty close. So, yeah, so then we spent the summer camping. We spent, lots of time out there, and Royce, I mentioned that you like camping, right? What do you like about camping?
Um, I always liked the camper, but we've ever since you sold the last one, I've never really wanted to go camping again except in our backyard with the tent. Even though we still have a tent that we have never used, even though we've had it for like 3 years now. I think my favorite part about camping was whenever we'd sit down at night and then there was a few games you would play, like in the camper. We had I can't exactly remember what they were, but yeah.
We would play, some, like, card games, and we played, like, the
Yeah.
Berenstain Bear card game and stuff like.
That was one of them, yeah.
Yeah.
So the Bernstein Bears hat is like the hat game where the wind would blow their hat off or you could take their hat. Like that game was awesome.
Royce, I don't know if he was around for all of some of the moments. I feel like, Shaun, you and I, disagree a lot on parking and leveling the camper. Would you say that's an accurate statement?
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's the stuff they don't prepare you for. We're talking about first time camping, but like that's some of that stuff, you know, the things you need when you get a camper, the things you need to be able to like you got to pay attention to, weight, those type of things like and then yeah, the communication that it needs to kind of prep that. That's the kind of stuff that you don't really think
Here's
about or
the
doesn't really brought up. Isn't really brought up right
You
out the
have a
gate.
truck. You have a truck, and the way I look at it is it can carry anything I want it to carry.
It's not true.
And I
It's
don't
not true.
I no, well, I don't think the trucks do actually have a weight limit. It's debatable. I do know that you need pins to hold things to the hitch.
You do.
Do you remember that one time that the pins got set on top or the back of the tailgate of the truck?
I mean, I think it happened more than one time, but I remember the one time where it happened and we lost them. I do remember that.
Royce, do you ever your dad and I never argue, right?
I'm not gonna agree with that.
The solid pause, bro. Solid pause.
We never argue. I don't know what you're talking about. If you said that you saw
The
the 2
last
of us
time you
argue,
argued was
yeah,
probably like an hour ago.
you might not be wrong. But I will say, Sean, you and I argue more about that camper and like getting it parked and or getting it in a driveway or like and the thing is you got really good at driving it, right?
Mm,
I was the person outside of the vehicle saying it's not level.
right.
Because I wasn't driving it. So, like, leveling, I felt like was my territory
Mhm.
and driving was your territory. And I would get extremely defensive when you'd be like, "Are you sure it's level?" And I'd be like, "Yes, I'm fucking sure it's level. I'm the one out here watching what I'm doing. I'm the one outside every time we do this."
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you would never let me try to drive or park the camper? Like,
Well,
be honest.
I mean, not Royce, we're gonna not argue on the podcast. No. No, I mean, there's I don't know. I think maybe it's just how I remember it happening, when watching my grandparents do it and kind of the roles they took. I guess I don't really know beyond that why. I mean, for me, I think the difficulty was, you said it was the leveling side of it, as the driver, I'm trying to watch you and the signals you give sometimes can't be seen or sometimes it's this way, but to me, that means I got to turn this way. So everything is kind of awkward when you're backing and kind of parking. So that's the difficulty from the driver's point of view. So yeah, I guess I don't really have a reason why I would never let you. I don't know that I never let you do it, but did you want to do
Royce.
that? Did you want to drive
I
and back
said
up and
that
park the camper?
all the time. I
Oh,
said,
okay.
"Let's switch roles
Okay.
as even just a, like, relationship experience, right? Let's switch roles of who parks and who levels because then I would know what you were going through, and then you would know what I was going through, right? Because if we switched roles, then we'd be like, "Oh, I could do this better in this way because then I fully understand what the other person sees." But you,
Fair.
from my perspective, I feel you you were like, "No, you're never doing that."
Hmm. Well, I
Royce,
apologize.
thank you. That was nice of you. Royce, can you think of any reason why your dad would not let me attempt to park the camper?
Well, I've played video games where, like, if you have a trailer on the back of a thing and it's really hard to reverse it because you'll drive one way and then the trailer will go the completely opposite. And he probably just didn't want you to crash it. And then, because that'd be a lot of money if you did. So,
I mean,
For you, my mind went back to she backed into the truck, and so
okay. I am gonna mute my husband's mic. I backed into the truck one time, and if we're gonna unpack things, it's not camping related, but let me just unpack this, I guess, since it's been brought up. We were getting ready to go out of town somewhere, something, and the 2 older kids needed to get to the grandparents. And I was running around chaotic trying to get the kids in the car. And I will give Shaun credit where credit is due. He said, the truck is in the driveway. And I was like, okay, I got it. So then I get the kids in the car. And keep in mind, the kids at this time are like 6 and under. And I get the kids in the car. I go to leave, and I'm left handed. So I overcorrect a specific way when I pull into the garage. I still do that now because I'm going to back out, and I would rather back out down the center of the driveway than to back out off to one side. And I just spaced the fact that you had told me the truck was in the driveway. And I went straight to the center. And yes, I did, in fact, back into the truck. I hear you both laughing, and you're both about to be muted. um, After backing into the truck, I then think, okay, I need to tell Shaun. And I go inside and you're in the shower. So I just yell, Shaun, I backed into the truck and you don't hear me. So then I have to say it again. I'd already we weren't married yet. I don't think that we were married yet. And
My truck was still like my baby at that point, so I was actually washing it and keeping it clean and those type of things.
that's true.
Yeah.
But I had to swallow the terrible feeling to come and tell you that I had backed into the truck. So from my memory, I walk inside. I've said it once. You don't hear me. I walk further in and I go, Shaun, I hit the truck. And you said, what? And he said, I hit the fucking truck. And you come out of the shower and you're like, let me come outside and look at it. So you put on clothes, come outside, you look at it. There's a teensy tiny little paint transfer. And you go, that's what insurance is for. And I felt so sick to my stomach because who is so nice? I would have reacted. I would have felt less bad if you had been like, can't believe you hit the truck and blah, blah, blah. But you didn't show any emotion other than kindness, which was very weird.
I had to keep all that yelling for parking the camper. If I let it all out there, I wouldn't have anything to yell about when we were trying to park the camper.
I really don't want Royce to watch us argue. But if you had listened to the directions I gave you while you were trying to park the camper, then that wouldn't have been a problem, would it? Royce, have you ever seen the shirts or flags that say, I'm sorry about what I said when I was trying to park the camper?
Nope.
Well, they exist for a reason. Okay, let's move on from the fact that I backed into the truck and let's talk a little bit more about some of our camping experiences. So we went out to formerly Squaw Creek Park, now Wanatee Park, multiple times. And then we also went up to Central City and we went to Pelican Ridge a handful of times. And one thing that was fun is we used to camp with our neighbors. Royce, do you remember camping with the neighbors?
I remember them having a big camper. I don't remember camping with them. I feel like a few times we were at the same site as them, but we were across the whole thing, so we never really got to see them anyways.
Steve and Linda. I think what's funny is that
Yeah.
Dad and I hey, we love Steve and Linda, and one day we want to be them. We want to have this full on RV that we can travel across the country with. But what's funny is that Steve and Linda argue all the time.
There's something about I'm telling you, something about camping that's like a lot of stress to have no stress. So there's like a lot of stress in the process of getting there. And then once you're there, that's when it's kind of like you can let all that go.
Shaun, do you think that there's anything that has been revealed about my personality? Did you learn anything about me as your significant other from just the camping experience?
Did I learn anything about you? I mean, nothing. I mean, it reinforced a lot of things that I already knew about you and like how strong your personality was, but I don't know that I learned a lot. I mean, I think we had some of our best times just when it was just you and me and the camper. I think of times at Pinnakin Ridge, it was just you and me and we would go, even during the week, we'd go out on a weeknight or something and camp. And so I think some of the most fun we've had happened camping, but I can't think of anything that I necessarily learned, but it definitely reinforced a lot of what I already knew and different, like bring those sides out in different ways for sure.
Royce, do you feel like you learned anything about your family members, any of your family members from camping?
Hmm. I don't know. There has to be something. Just I can't think at the moment. I can't think of it.
I learned that your older sister hates nature.
Well, I've known that,
From the days of
and
her
she still
Oklahoma.
does. She
She
still
still
does.
does. She still does. I mean, she's better now, like, we can have the windows open, and she's not scolding us for inside smelling like outside. So, like, she's gotten used to fresh air, which is nice, but you're right, she does still hate nature, and she's not even a glamping girl. I mean, we had a camper, we had air conditioning, we had a shower, we had all the things, like, she still that was not her cup of tea by any means. Royce, do you remember, were you out camping with us the night we found a mouse in the camper?
I remember we went back. We went camping one time, and we found a mouse, not rat, mouse nest, but not nest, whatever
Rat.
you call it, whatever
Yeah,
you
we
call
found
it,
the
a
mouse's
mouse.
it was a nest.
Yeah, yeah,
You're right, it was a nest, and it had
and it was
the
like
mice.
in the oven or something.
Your memory is correct. Very, very correct. So, Shaun and I had pulled the camper out of storage to the campsite, and I don't I can't remember if we found the mouse nest before we pulled it out and just said, "We'll do a deep clean when we get to camping," because that was not uncommon for us to, like, get out there and then use that time, right? Fill that time with prepping the camper and cleaning or whatever. But you're right, Royce. So we had left oven mitts in the oven of the camper. And this is the day that I learned everything in the camper is actually connected to each other and nothing is separate because the mice over winter pulled all the stuff out of the oven mitts and made a nest out of it. Shaun, so far this sounds correct, yes?
I mean, yes. Yeah, that definitely happened. They definitely made a nest during the winter time. I mean, how I kind of remember this playing out is we had cleaned. So we had got the camper out there, we had cleaned, and we had brought the kids out. We were ready to go. And we just kept finding, like, over a couple of, we had put the food in there, and we kept finding stuff with holes in it. So, like, the buns would have a little hole in it or something. And there was a little bit of, like, buns chewed, or like we'd find a little bit of Doritos over here.
Okay, no, 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 no. So my memory of this is we did like a whole deep clean and then we didn't see any
Mm-mm.
evidence
Nope.
of anything live and living. And I
Nope.
mean, we like bleached, sanitized, scrubbed, washed everything
Yep.
that day.
Yep.
And I remember this because it was like a lunar eclipse and I go to bed early historically and we had Esme and we had her little pack and play and we had not yet taken down the table to put her pack and play there. And so we had put the food on the table and the plastic of the buns we bought or the bread we bought was just ripped. And it wasn't enough for me I was like, "Oh, yeah, like we bought groceries and it caught on something, right?"
Right.
You don't put those pieces together. And then it was like, okay, we made dinner, we were actively in and out of the camper, and we came in after having watched the entire lunar eclipse, and we're like, "Oh, that was cool. Let's go to bed." And then this is when I say spiral out of control in my intro, I mean, I don't know that I have ever spiraled like this ever in history. That's you can take over from here.
No, I mean, I just remember like we saw it, like we saw the mouse. I don't remember how. It was late at night. We had already went to bed. We heard some noises. We got up and we saw, like, visibly saw it, and we didn't catch it or anything the first time we saw it. So I remember seeing it, and then I remember being like, well, what can we do about it? But I remember hearing it a couple times throughout the night, and then I remember hearing other sounds in our roof. I don't know if it was like weather related or what was actually happening because it was colder. I remember it, like, the temperature was dropping. And so I remember that, and I remember the reaction from that. So I don't know if that's what you're
So,
talking about reaction wise,
were
but
you spiraling out of control and just trying to keep calm, or, like, was I the only person freaking out? Because I was so caught up in my own thoughts, I guess I don't even really know what your real thoughts were.
I mean, I was convinced that it was just the camper and the difference in weather because it was just popping sounds and things like that. Like, campers make those sounds, when it gets
And
colder at
I
night.
was convinced it was an infestation.
I
I
remember.
mean, like,
I remember.
I could not once I thought that there was more than one, because there's never just one, first of all. There's never just one. Once I had convinced myself that it was a whole horde of them in the roof and they were gonna drop on me, I was done. Royce, did your camera just fall over? As I was saying, once I had convinced myself that there was a whole host, a colony, if anyone's seen Ratatouille, I know we said mouse and not rat, and we very clearly clarified that. But if you've seen Ratatouille, when he calls in his family to help, and it like every sewer rat comes out of New York City or wherever the hell they are, Paris or wherever, that's what I was convinced was going to happen to us, is they were just going to start dropping from the ceiling vents. And no. And that lunar eclipse was done at like, I don't know, 11:15, and we were home by 1:30.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't stay out there too long. After you started feeling like it was, an infestation that was happening, we jetted pretty quick. But I mean, I do remember that we
Hauled
did.
ass. I would like to just stop and clarify the speed at which we came home was hauled ass.
Yeah, it was quick. I do remember though that we only caught one. So there was only one that we caught in there.
Do you remember how we caught it, Royce? Did we ever tell you this?
Mm, wait, no, I don't think so. I bet once you tell me though, I'll remember that you have told me, but not
Okay,
that I know of.
so think about like a cartoon, an old school cartoon, and how you might like bait a mouse with cheese. So if you recall, we really like to eat pies on the fire for dinner, which is like a pizza pocket, if you will. And we had cube cheese. And I had a long time ago caught a mouse accidentally at home a long, long time ago because I threw away part of a Subway cookie into a trash can that didn't have a trash bag in it. And the next morning I woke up and there was a mouse in the bottom of this trash can. And so I was like, oh my gosh, can we bait the mouse? Because it had run across the countertop and it was gross. Oh my God. I just like, I don't even like the way I feel right now. And so we put a piece of cheese in the trash can. And the next thing you know, there was a mouse in the trash can. And then I made your dad dispose of it.
It worked. We caught him.
Uh, and then he died.
He did.
It
Yeah.
was, it was I felt bad. I did feel bad, but and no. And then like you tried not to kill it. Do you remember this?
I
You tried
do.
not to kill it. You went and put it out in the field and then it came back and ran up the tire.
I do remember that.
It was like, it was asking to die.
I mean, it had built a pretty comfy home there. It was trying to just get back to safety.
This obviously was a chaotic experience. And I feel like we've had a few chaotic experiences. Shaun, you and I have a great track record of camping. And then at the same time, we have this like some of our most ridiculous stories are related to and around camping. Um, we could probably quickly unpack the time when we went to, was it Diamond Lake? Is that what's in Montezuma?
Mhm, mhm, yep,
And we were gonna stay with your family, and it just, like, torrential downpoured, and the people who had tents were rained out, and so for us, it was like, "Eh, we're not gonna stay over here, it's a little wet."
right.
And your mom had booked a hotel room motel room, um, and so we went there, and yeah, I mean, that was an experience.
Yes. We did
I'm
not
like
stay at the motel.
I
Mm.
have never ditched the responsibility on you so fast, like, "That's not my family, it's you get to just you get to explain why we're not staying." Yeah. Okay, anyway, so let's come back to this really quick. So we've been talking about camping, and I do remember having some really chaotic experiences. It sounds like, Shaun, your experience in your childhood camping was probably just more go with the flow because that was just a regular thing. My family did that as a hobby, and it was only during a few times of the summer. So I don't know that we ever really perfected the science like your family did.
Yeah, I mean, my grandma, grandpa, they when they retired, they sold their house and lived out of an RV, so we definitely it was more of an just all the time thing.
Royce, what was something you didn't like about camping?
Um, I I always the only thing I remember is a ton of bugs. Like bugs were everywhere around. I feel like the bugs liked our camper more than anybody else's.
I don't think that that's true. I do think
No,
the
I do feel like
raccoons
that was
like our
true.
camper.
At one of the campgrounds, I don't remember which one. There was also I almost got poison ivy because there was a big path with a ton of poison ivy around it. So
I I don't I think science says the bugs did not have preference over one or the other. However, I do believe that the raccoons did because we did get a little loosey-goosey with our garbage one night, and, we have to, like, flush the toilet to scare the raccoons away in the middle of the night, but, um, yeah, that was a whole experience. Shaun, what is something that you did not like about camping?
I think, you know, the thing what I will say is the things that I did like about camping evolved as I became more responsible for camping, if that makes sense. Like, really camping for me was a way to just, like, go out and have no worries, relax, cook your meals on a bonfire, sit around, you know, socialize with friends and family. But I think as I got older, I kind of became the one responsible for making that happen versus just getting to have that experience. So as I got older, I think that's what I started to dislike about camping is it's a lot of work to get the family all
It's like
together, get the
Christmas.
clothes out there, get everything set up, get the food. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of work. So I think that's what I started to dislike about it, if that makes sense.
Well, and then, of course, we moved to a location where our backyard is more peaceful than the campground because now we don't even have to worry about the other campers
Right.
because that's something we didn't even touch on, right? But,
Yep. Yep.
I do kind of feel a little bit bad that the kids never really got to make friends and like expect to see the same people every weekend because I think that would have been a fun experience for them. But also now we can just like go out to our backyard or look like I'm staring at it right now and it's gorgeous and it kind of looks like a campground. So,
that
okay.
might be true, but I've asked maybe 5 times every summer, and you said no every single one of them. So
Are you here to sell me out?
apparently,
I think it is harder too because Royce likes it, Ophelia does not, and then we've got Esme who's going through the bug thing that Royce went through at that age. So it's tough. It's tough with the dynamic, I think, right? Like to make everybody happy and kind of make it work.
Royce, let me ask you this, buddy. Even though camping was not a perfect experience all the time, would you still want to do it? Like, do you think it's something that's fun? Do
why do you
you
think I've
remember
asked you so much?
do you remember mom and dad arguing about camping?
100%.
You do? And you still think
I
it's
feel
fun?
like every time we went camping, one of you wanted to go and one of you didn't want to go.
I mean, I pretty much always wanted to go camping.
Yeah, and Shawnee was the one who pretty much never wanted to go camping, I feel like then.
What? I feel like I enjoy camping, man. I wanted to go. I loved being there. And once we were there, it was awesome every time. The dance parties, like I said, the bonfires. Royce, I think you got some of your best sleep ever by the campfire, dude. You used to fall asleep in ways I didn't even know were possible in a lawn chair.
Yeah, we used to watch you and go like, "Oh my god, his back is gonna hurt so bad tomorrow." Okay. Well, Royce, this is your first time on a podcast, and so
Mhm.
I'm going to give you the first crack at the commit or cancel questions related to camping. Okay? Because Sean's done this already. So we're moving on to my favorite segment.
Okay.
It's called commit or cancel. Your only options are to either commit or to cancel based on what I say. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Would you commit or cancel to sleeping on the ground?
It kind of depends.
Nope. You get commit or cancel.
Cancel.
Okay. Same, buddy. Same. Would you commit or cancel to using campground bathrooms?
Cancel.
I mean, that's fair. You guys get to take bush wheeze and pee standing up. So, would you commit or cancel to hot dogs or any food cooked over a fire?
Cancel.
What?
You don't like fire food?
I hate hot dogs.
Wait,
Pies,
I said
bro?
or any food.
Pies by the
If
fire?
if this yeah, but I also don't like every food. If it's just the foods that if I would eat food over, yes, commit. But if hot dogs are one of them, then cancel.
Okay,
Breakfast.
fine, whatever, bro.
Breakfast on the fire is the best thing.
Yeah, breakfast is better.
Okay, Royce, commit or cancel to having matching camping chairs?
Commit.
How about going hiking?
Commit.
How about family card games?
Commit.
Waking up sweating?
Cancel.
S'mores?
Cancel.
Hearing unexplained noises outside?
Cancel.
How about RV people acting like they're better than everybody else?
Well, cancel, but that might be true considering the fact RVs are a lot better.
That doesn't make them better people. Or like, anyway. Okay.
That's
All
why
right.
I said cancel.
I'm going to run these same scenarios by Shaun. Okay. So, Shaun, you are back in. I'm going to tap you in here for commit or cancel. Commit or cancel to sleeping on the ground.
Commit.
Campground bathrooms.
Cancel.
But they're so gross.
Spiders, bro.
I
Spiders.
was actually super happy that we had the bathroom
Yeah.
because that was just like top notch. Okay. Hot dogs or any food cooked over the fire.
Oh, commit. 100%.
Royce, I forgot to ask you this, but anyway, bug spray as perfume.
Cancel.
Oh no, I'm all in on the DEET. 40%, the highest amount of DEET. I've been exposed to enough cancer causing things in my life. At this point, just DEET me up.
Uh, commit. I do that. As long as I can keep the bugs away.
Okay, Shaun, back in on you. How are we feeling about committing or canceling to having matching camping chairs?
If they're cheap, it's fine.
You don't even like the cheap chairs we have. You bitch about the chairs
I do,
every fucking time we
but I
go.
don't care what color they are. If they're cheap,
But
fine.
you're too cheap to buy new ones.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Hiking,
Mm-hmm. Commit.
family card games,
Commit.
waking up sweating,
Cancel.
s'mores,
Cancel.
hearing unexplained noises outside,
Cancel.
roughing it,
Commit.
RV people acting superior,
Cancel.
and the last one, which I didn't read to Royce because he didn't really do a ton of this, but commit or cancel to packing the car like a hostage evacuation.
Cancel, but a necessity, but cancel.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we have all the things that we need. I mean, like, the creature comforts, if you will. Okay. Well, I just have to say thank you so much to both of you for being on here. I am super happy that Royce was able to be a part of this today. And this probably won't be the last time that he joins us. And Shaun, I don't know, we'll see. You're
I
getting
get it.
better.
I get it.
Uh, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up with the listeners in the last segment, which is This is How We Do It, which is always a quick little game plan for if you decide or you're thinking, should I go camping? Is the family chaos worth it? This would be your plan. So, this is how we do it. If you're listening to this thinking my family isn't outdoorsy enough, everything has to go perfectly to count as quality time, I'm here to tell you absolutely not. Step one, stop expecting every family memory to look Pinterest perfect. I am guilty of that, but I am slowly letting that expectation go. Two, accept that the funniest stories usually come from a mild disaster. Hands down, here to tell you that's an accurate statement. And three, let your kids see you doing things imperfectly anyway, because my kids watch me go through these trials and tribulations, and hopefully they'll see that they can persevere through that. So remember, your kids aren't going to remember having a spotless schedule. The things that they are going to remember: weird creative snacks, chaos, laughter, raccoon paranoia, or mice paranoia in my situation. And honestly, just us being present and showing up as a family. So, as it turns out, some of the best memories happen when everyone's slightly uncomfortable. And that might be the whole point of everything. So, new experiences don't have to be scary. I'm hoping that I'm helping you make them feel doable. And as we always say, awkward is fine. We're going to do it anyway. I will see you soon.